All right, guys. um, I just got a question asked on one of my videos about it's important to take your farms to level 20, or if it's fine to just take 15 and use them for steel. The first thing that I'm going to say is that this game, just like every other one, is endless. They will always come out with something more, something new until it just I think the life expectancy of these games is about 4 or 5 years, based on technology, things that change. I don't know if it's based on research of people, but yes, um, I should have went ahead and kept growing my farms. I stopped short at 16, and I did that so that I could get the extra two steel tiles, but I can get more if I bring them up, I think, to 17. Um, but they should have all been the mineral. And I should have continued with the farms, my mineral farms, um, because once you get to 21, you can unlock a new production tech and gathering tech, and then 22, even more. The thing is, um, it's ba- it's based on money, right? So you're going to have people that you want to compete with, okay? It's kind of like slow and steady, wins the race. Like the tortoise and the hare analogy, right? So, yes, you'll be behind and you won't be the big name of the team and what have you for some time if you are smart about it and sit back and you don't want to waste money. Okay, so you can spend money and keep up while you grow your farm, or you can grow your farms and then think about what a real timer is. Okay, first, golden hammers or whatever you call them. Yeah, golden hammers. That is the cheapest expense you can have, having two builds run at one time. Okay, if I wanted to speed one day, that's like, I don't know, 2,500 gold. Or I can run two buildings at once for one day for 200. If I wanted to speed 2 or 3 days, that's 7,500 gold. It only costs 600 and I'll have it done. The idea is to have the income, the resource income, to just keep things going all the time and have a strategy with them so that you know what your next goal is, and you have this, and this that need to be done to get there. But you can't do this one part because you have this, and this that also need to be done. So you run things simultaneously that benefit you now, like if your garage has to be done for your next castle, which I can't remember which one, but then you know that if you go ahead and jump to the garage and get that started, um, when that garage finishes, you'll have a bigger march, which is a payoff while you wait on other things that you have to do, while you wait on resources or what have you. So you don't want to sit with a ton of resources in your city unless you truly have nothing else to do, which should never be the case. There should never be a time when you don't have something to work on. For me, now that I'm 30 and everything's so expensive and I'm lazy and I haven't really been getting on my farms much, plus I owe my buddy a little bit more. Um, I have, uh, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Slacked. I have been slacking. I started back to work today, by the way. It's been 6 months. It's been since June 6th is when I got injured, and surgery was the third week of July, like July 23rd. So started back to work with limited conditions or whatever, but I'm pretty stoked about that. Um, and so I had more time for certain things, but again, I was the primary. You guys have met my daughter, primary sitter for her. So anyway, I slacked off on the farms. Plus, I play a bunch of different games. I got a bunch of different castles, but I don't advise you to do that. I advise you guys to pick something you love and stick with it. And you can do a lot of things at one time. Like you can run a lot of accounts as long as you have a system. It won't take as long as some people make it out to be. Um, Literally, if I went right now and it would take me an hour to fully go through all of my farms and cover all the bases. I mean, not doing rallies, ruins rallies, because then you got to go through them all, you know, 3 different times. I don't do things like that. I do make sure that I have a build going. If there are any to do, make sure that all my marches are out on tiles. Um, in the best way possible, most efficient way to where when I come back, there's healthy, full tiles to jump on. And my troops have been working the whole time that I was gone. So it's based on the timing. If I know I'm going to be back on in a few hours, I might hit a few small tiles. But the more marches you have out at one time, the faster you'll bring that resource back. Okay. So, um, if you're always running VIP, basically, if your farm will cover its full amount of troops on one tile, don't do that. Break them down and make it 3 marches out, make it 2 marches out, make it 4 marches out, because you'll bring that resource back sooner. Okay, so if you have time to do twice a day, 3 times a day, ideally, is really will be a payoff because then you be able to do some of the extra stuff. But if you're going to do farms, the first thing when you first start is make all the castles. You have to wait like an hour between each castle. So each one are going to be like 45 minutes to an hour apart from each other. But after that first day of starting all those castles, you just are going to have to rotate all of them. Like, I mean, it shouldn't even take you a minute while you're on a farm just to click whatever the next build is, hit whatever the next research is, and get troops rolling and send those troops out to gather something useful. And you're just going to be doing that tediously for a little while to build, to get all those farms just going up. Me, usually, I will take advantage of the VIP, and when I start that farm, I know I got 45 minutes till I can start another one. I just balls to the wall. I just drain that sucker, everything. And you do all the quests. You hit the next monster, next monster, next level monster, next level monster. You do all the little things that will pay you speeds back and more resources and everything. You just get all that you can get for free. And build that sucker up as far as you can. I think you can get to like level 8 without having to spend even gold. Um, but something that I do that a lot of people might not, like when you first start and you can do that one food tile. Well, I don't do just one food tile. I plot out every food tile that I can plot out and then run them all the way up to what VIP allows. And then I do that with the wood tile. And then when iron tiles come out, I do all of it. That way, no matter what, it's producing the most that it can produce at that stage, at least for free. Okay, because it only takes you to click on the building and hit the little up, and then over there, get now. It's free, as long as it's under VIP. So long story short is you have your main castle, you get your growth fund, your monthly pack. That way you have your gold storing up, especially in the beginning of the realm, and you'll have your gold storing up, and you can take advantage of deals you find in the black market, um, which is really good to check every day. And this is what I do: 10 gold. Trying to find a place I can put that where it's out of the way. If you really care about battle fogs, this is a decent trade. That's 160 for an 8-hour battle fog. because it's 80 for 20. Um, I buy the skills for 800. I try and save my points for, I mean, it's a good one, but I never have 6K because I use it when I see something good. Oh, I need to put some steel in my city. I just did a bunch of troop training. It's a recruitment event. But take advantage of this, store up, and, you know, take care of your main and just keep it going, just like your farms. It's not a rush, especially in the beginning. Just store up what you need. That way, when you hit like a real milestone, or if you guys, you're still kind of small and your realm's real heavy combat constantly, you have what you need to shield up and preserve what you got. Because you'll have all the time in the world to bully the shit out of people later. Because they'll have drained their credit card and you'll have been just chilling, and you'll have a resource income to where your timers never stop. So you'll be able to exponentially grow. I mean, especially if you need to organize with good people, because if you can't run and own your own farm alliance, you need to, and even then, it's not cheap to protect it and to keep it growing. But if you're on your farms constantly and you're constantly donating, in the beginning, you can get a good bunch of flags for cheap. And if you're smart in how you place it, then you can really get a good setup. I mean, my alliance has, I think, 53 elites, which is a lot. I went above and beyond to build mine, but then I slacked on the farms. I could be doing a lot more with it because I control that whole alliance. And I have people from that have been enemies with each other. But in my farm alliance, it's non-political. Nobody fights anybody. Okay, you bring none of that shit to the chat rooms in there. You don't pull any sneaky shit. It's all about growing, non-political. Everybody needs to grow because in the nation, in the kingdom, in the realm, whatever game you're in, it's preservation of each other, because without each other, you don't have a game. You have to have an enemy to have a game. You have to have friends to have a game. You have to have, people that you don't like and don't hate, but it's just you need the more people, the better, right? So let me go ahead and I forgot to do power the other day. Go figure. Um, Sorry, I tangent off all the time on different things, but overall, the important thing is to slow yourself down, not rush yourself. You can be comfortable and happy at a steady pace. You can have everything more than you need. Sorry, I like to be perfect. And then you always want to do one over because it'll come back short if you don't. All right, so do all your farms, and then what you do, another trick to it, is you can take one of your farms, like the priority farm, the one that's furthest along, and you can drop it from the alliance and hit all farms for just enough resource to do a next big move. So if you're like need a little bit of resource to get to level to next castle level, and it'll be a payoff of some sort, and the rest are a couple days away, and you're just waiting on something specific, and you have a good reason to, you can do that. But use your farms to build each other. Don't worry about your main for a while. You focus your main with your active necessities, like joining in events, joining in alliance events, joining it, like there's the Doom's Iron Grip right now. You're not going to feel like doing that with all your farms. Anything that's going to better your VIP, your officers, your merit. You're going to hit zombies all the time, so you're storing up materials, everything that you can think. Yeah, NCP was one of the major alliances, and then we did a merge. So I have an account in NCP, and welcome, bro. I was at work, so I couldn't get to you um, as often as you were trying to reach me, but I did what I could. Which, by the way, I want to see if I can locate my other castle because I moved it around in Void. So anyway, um, so your main is going to feed off of all those farms. It's going to, and it's going to go faster than you think. But the important thing is to make yourself self-sufficient and have a plan for dealing with if your realm has rogue player or somebody that or your alliances are fighting, then you're going to have to worry about your farms getting hit all the time. So what you're going to want is the minimum amount of troops that can hold the most load, except one defensive march. So you should be able to, if you're a smart player, you're going to have all your med tents available. They're not going to be the number one priority, but you're going to have them up and you're going to rotate them. You're not going to run one all the way up to max. You're going to do them all to next level, all to next level, all to next level, because that's the cheapest, fastest way to get them all as high as you can get them. I don't know where this hive really is. I'm kind of guessing. Um, so, your training tents, your camps, your recruitment queue, how many you can recruit at a time, is not a necessity for a farm, but it's great for your farms when you're midway to where your builds are, overnight builds and you can't get on early in the morning and you're still trying to build an army. You can set more troops going at a time, which means that you'll have more troops done that you didn't have the account just sitting there doing nothing. All right. And you're going to want to, if you know that you're going to be on frequent for that day, it's a day off and you don't have much else to do except work on your farms, that's when you do the short frequent or the short researches in small builds and you just rotate, rotate, rotate. But if you know you're about to go to bed, then that's when you want to save up for that a longer build. Regardless of what it costs, regardless of what the benefit is, you need to strategize your time, and that saves you time. Having your routine down. Sorry, my phone's trying to die on me. Having your routine down, like me. Now, granted, a lot of people know a little bit. At first, most of the people that I'm good buddies with now, I was in the beginning. I come in like a bull in a china shop. I like to just play my game, and I like people to respect me. I don't want to. I don't care about being part of the top alliance or the best alliance or the best anything. I want to be respected. I want to earn it, and I want to play my game. So that's what I do. And so I make enemies while I'm meeting you. Hey buddy, how you doing? Did you like that burn? They hate me if I'm hitting their farms. Well, dude, don't leave your farms loaded. You know, um, you gotta grow, and people gotta learn because come void, they need to have their routines down. They need to have their preparation, their organization. People need to be smart, and it takes a lot of people are hard headed, and it takes some experience to figure it out. Um, and so you lose some in the beginning. And that's, how you end up losing players too. So you don't want to overstep it. Like if I go and I'm attacking stuff and I start seeing losses on the troops, I stop hitting it. Unless it's really loaded and they're like low tier troops or something. Or I especially like to pick on players like me because I know they'll keep growing. They'll just keep on going. So I know I kind of tangent off and start conversation. So um, it's not just about that, it's about your attention. Starting all the farms at once means that you're not having to feel like you're going back and starting over. So, like me, if I wanted to go and start some more farms, I would have to relive that whole process again in the same nation. It's not like I'm going out in a new nation or starting a new game. Plus, if I'm going to make time for it, I want the biggest benefit that I can get, right? Now, it was strategically smart for me to make the food and oil farms. I had two food and oil that just stayed primarily, and then I worked them up to steel, low level steel. I wanted to master some steel ones just so that they're providing steel. And then knew that I wanted a bunch that can do mineral. I mean, you always if it says that you have to be a high level for this particular resource, you're going to need a lot of that resource one day. And it's going to be rare and expensive. So I knew I needed more than one, more than two um, farms for mineral. So I have a good setup. If I spent more time on it, on my farms, it'd pay off a lot more. Um, People you see on here on this game, if you're getting on here and you're chat or you're going into nation chat and trolling, dude, you can't imagine how much stuff you can get done in that time. You're just wasting time sitting on your ass on a phone typing at people that you'll never meet. That doesn't matter what they say or do. And um, people never understand. And they're like, dude, you never talk. It's like, man, I don't got time to talk. I don't get on here, sit here and chat. I like doing the YouTube video, um, and I can't really think about what I'm saying, so I can't really do much unless I'm actually doing something and trying to explain to you how I'm doing it. But right now, I'm trying to think of all the different elements that come into play, and I know it's kind of boring when I'm not like actually spitting out back to back to back, but I don't have time to sit around with a note paper and write things down, list them out until I get a perfect thing, and then just lay them out. I'm not that type of player. Just like I read the guidebook on the game or um, anything like that. I learned everything from experience. In this game, I'm still scratching my head on some things. I mean, I need to do some more testing, but I'm working on getting my shredders up, my T10 shredders, bikes, because bikes are great defense because they kill a lot. But my T10 army coming together pretty quick. Other guys that have T10, even after me, they got way more troops than I do because they spend a little bit more money than I do. Um, yeah, I only got 62,000. This guy I didn't even know he was C30 yet, and he's sitting there hitting shit with 120,000 snipers. Yep, thought I heard my daughter. Anyway, so let me run through my mind real quick on this. You want to make sure that you have a plan for if you can't afford to shield, which you shouldn't, because I don't spend any money in my farms. I have for the flag, of course, for building my alliance. I'll buy like one of those small starter packs that give you the extra gold and stuff like that from time to time when I needed to, or something that pays off in one way or another. But um, I get gold by taking and doing the reinforcement trick, where I take, three farms and reinforce them into one. So when somebody attacks it, I have a bigger mass of troops, so they have a higher chance of getting those few kills needed for the gold, and then they all get paid, right? So then I have that, I don't know, 900, 1200, whatever the gold is for the kill event. So you got your gather event, which you should be good at with your farms, and then you got the kill event. If every weekend, if you know kill events coming in, if you know you're going to be busy right before, then you're going to have to drain your farms earlier. But you're going to have to pick a day where you're going to send out all your marches on all your farms and empty them completely. Either that or do like I do and get on right before you're preparing for kill event. You get on your main two farms and go ahead and send your attack march on a tile, hide the rest of your troops, and do that on your main two, and then empty those. And then you start the rotation of all the rest of the farms and you place the reinforcements where you want them. Yeah, not yet. No, you don't, but um, I would still. I mean, I had a guy that asked me about my 22. My 22 is like a tool, right? I built that sucker. That thing's built well. Now I don't need it. It just sits, but I don't need to sell it either. But it's just like in War and Order. I got a bunch of really nice, I mean, maxed out accounts, but they're useful when I need them, and I'm not in any rush to have to sell them. But I guess for the right amount to help somebody out, it would be. But um, to build a 22 that's maxed out, it's got all the barracks. I think it's got one factory at 19. Everything else is 22. And you don't have to question it because it's been on many, many videos. I mean, it's VIP 8, I think. I think it's VIP 8. C22. The lower level could be better if I was on it hitting monsters more. I think it's like, or zombies. I think it's like a 31. But he's got a ton of troops, decent officers, purple officers, and everything. It's really a nice account. But um, you're not the first guy. I've had quite a few people that wanted to join my realm or nation. But yeah, it's a little bit of a pain when you got to start late. But the idea is maybe you're not with everybody, but eventually you will be because we all still have the same objective and you're preparing for kill event. Plus, you'd be real fun. You'd be like the little account they think that they're going to stomp on, but you're in the alliance with the big guys, and then we go and reinforce you and straight own them. That's why I like these games, Camels games, because of the defense. You can send in reinforcements endlessly, and the battle just goes on and on and on. But anyway, so you can earn yourself free gold by having that one attack march in each farm. One attack march. A full march, heavy, long range, all top tier. You don't want any little stuff. And I don't even, I use just a little bit of front line, top tier that I keep home. But in this game, troop load is front line. Your best front line is your highest troop load. So you're going to have a ton of those anyway. A lot of low tier, but you can have just enough um, top tier to be a decent front line. So you want to make sure you got enough for a decent front line. So you're going to take, and each my C20s are all roughly 77 to 80,000 March. So I'm going to put, if each one, if I put them each together, you don't necessarily have to have as many front line um, when you're grouping them together if you were soloing something. So I could put like 15 or 20,000 each and have an excessive amount of front line and then just fill it up with like 10% mid range and then the rest all long range, your strongest long range. So then you know maybe you get flattened, but all you need is that nice just enough kills to get the gold. And if you send all the same troops from each account, they're going to kill evenly and it's going to spread. Um, so hopefully, you keep them close enough together that you're not going to have one that takes all the kills and the other two just get stuck with wounded. And then the day after kill event, it's the normal day that I'll go through and say I won't get on and open my territory rewards through kill event. And when I come back to it after the kill event, then I can open all my mail. I get those the gold, the XPs, the whatever stuff you get, and then all that territory reward resource, and then that's enough to cover all the healing I need. Plus, when you hit the harvest button, so and then I just set all the troops. I'll hit the all recall button, bring them all back from where I had them hidden, and I'll thing and just start the timer. I don't speed it. And then I'll just dispatch all the troops till they're out to do what little they can. And then I come back the next day, same time, and everything will be healed and ready to go for the next 2 weeks or a month if you're only fighting void to void and you have peace in your realm. So, but substantially pays off. The whole point in this video was to help you guys understand if most of you guys are not going to be heavy spenders, or you don't want to be, or you just want to get the best bonus that you can with your spending. Okay, nothing wrong with spending if you can afford it. Never let this game become your boss ever. Any addiction, any enjoyment can be an addiction. Any addiction is not healthy if you're doing something that you're going to pay a consequence for. Even though you know consequence, you still do it anyway. That's when you need to take a step back. But this resource income will save you exponentially because what do you spend? You always need resources. So if you don't have any and you want to keep it, you're going to spend, right? Um, Troops, you need resources so that you can keep those buildings, recruitment buildings, the factories, the camps, the workshop going up so that you're recruiting the troop that you can recruit. That way, when you lose them, you're still replacing the same ones, and you're eventually going to have so many of the here that you're not going to worry about having to spend a bunch to replace an army, unless you're stupid and you let yourself get zero because you didn't hide troops or prepare yourself or whatever. Um, or sometimes things happen to where you miss, which is understandable. Sometimes it's good to have a backup, like your girlfriend or boyfriend if you're a lady, whatever. At least know the basics on how to get in and shield your account or whatever. But um, so like I was saying, you wouldn't believe how much, how quickly you'll come along with the resource income. You'll be that slowpoke little guy that's just chugging along. You're still showing effort. Um, you're still a name that everybody knows because you're there. You're talking. You're joining in on everything. You don't have to be leader. The things that you're going to want to spend on, if you're going to spend, is going to be your officers. Things that only keep increasing, only um, just exponentially increase. Like your gear eventually will get to an end, just like your extension. It's a long road to get there. So if you're going to, um, really, your officers is probably the number one winner in this. And then when you have resources endlessly coming and you're always building and you're always researching, then you're just getting stronger, getting better, and eventually you're just going to be up there with everybody else that, you know, skipped a house payment for 6 months. So I don't know. That was kind of a joke, but some people do have that problem. Um, So, yes, yours are important to grow them, and um, basically will have to at your own. Only you will know what your capabilities are. Okay, I don't want that one. I need a. Did I kill that last one? Nope, I didn't. That was it. That's because I don't have my big march on them in training gear. Um, fuck was I gonna say? Excuse my language. Somebody commented on my video, called me a moron, said all I do is teach my daughter to say the F word. I was like, I guess eventually, but she's not old enough, for one. Number two, I don't speak like that. I said context is everything because I'm on the game, you know. We're in a different zone. So yes, I need to pay attention to my habits and pay attention to my surroundings, but I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. But it's not like my everyday talking. So she sees me talking to the neighbor. She sees me talking to my parents or uh, her mom. You know, I don't talk like that. What was I saying to you guys before I went and tangent off again? I was trying to hit another one of these monsters. There's whatever worms. Maybe I'll remember. Um, I know I made that money, but you will, when you have the right production and you do your farms right, resources will not be a problem. And then not only that, you can win in events and get the things that you would be spending money for. That you know, so you're not going to um, stay way behind. You know, like if you do good in zombie uprise, you get officer fragments. Your officers will, if you trade smart and you win events smart, you will get your officers up and the different things that matter. But the bottom line is you're going to have a resource income so that all those things, um, the underlying things like your tech and your builds are going to be maxed out. You're going to have the hospital capacity that you need to be safe. You're going to have the recruitment um, camps so that you have a decent recruitment speed and you can recruit a decent amount at a time at a high speed. You're going to have a decent resource. I only do resource tiles in the middle. As you can see, I don't worry about them too much. But these over here, I've always kept up on the villas or whatever you call it for the gather speed is one thing, but I did it for the build speed, but it doesn't really matter anymore, which is kind of stupid because you have to skip 27 and 28. You can't increase the build speed. Um, or is it 28 and 29? One of them, but they made it that way. But I think I've covered everything that I just ideally wanted you guys to understand that yes, it's important to grow your farms to 20 at least. There's times when I go into my farm lines full of tiles. There are no steel tiles and a ton of mineral tiles. And it's like, man, I could use those extra farms gathering mineral. But then there's days when there's no minerals and a ton of steel. Well, everything, all of them can do steel, but I'm always going to be short on mineral at one point or another. So ideally, I want as many to be able to gather mineral when mineral is available. All right. So, and then not only that, you have the in city tiles and the harvest button. Okay, so the production of them. That's another thing that pays. You can get on them frequently. You can shake them, which means that they don't stop producing as often or for hours and hours and hours. If I got on and you won't have to do it every 2.5 hours, but the more often you get on them, the more they're going to pay off. So, and it is a lot more than you would believe that you get. So me, I cannot gather anything on my farm today and come back and go around them one time and hit them, and I'm ready for a nice building, just based off of what uh produce. So there's a lot of good stuff in having a good system and covering your bases. And you can put, for somebody like me, that when I'm working, I make good money, great money, but I make decent money. And um, I need to be busy and I need to be focusing on my work. So I can't stop and um, mess around with my forms anymore. Okay. Um, so it actually costs me more money to try and save money. Um, so to stop working for an hour to do my forms, I would make more. Um, I can't think of something that I would do with my farms, but that hour of time is not worth sacrificing getting some work done for me. But some people, if you have more available time and it works out like that, then your time can exponentially pay off because you put it into things like that. The tedious bullshit, the things like uh, practicing. You practice and practice at something, you'll get better at it. Well, if you put effort into this, then you'll have what you need available when you need it. And then you can have a plan with it and you can just do better and better and better and capitalize on it. And you can apply that to everything in your life. Take opportunities. But I can go on forever and not cover anything more. I'm sure I'll think of something I should have told y'all about. Um, just focus on troop load with your farms, um, long range attack and frontline defense, if anything, in military stats. And make sure you are doing the military techs when you don't have any other tech to do them because they don't cost much resources and they make you not as easy to steamroll. So um, don't overlook them. And training uh, capacity or whatever it is called in this. You want to do that in your farms. That way you're training more at a time. Military expansion. Make sure you're doing your expansions and doing your training grounds. And that way you can train more at a time. Eventually it won't matter. But in this game, you can't really, they've got like a spot for every tile, which kind of sucks. So you can't like master in one thing or another. Did I kill this one? Yes. I don't know. I didn't hit it. All right. Well, I'm done talking your ear off. I just wanted you guys to have um, a fuller understanding of why it's important. So it's not such a the question's no longer necessary because you know what the payoff is and what the objective is, and that in the end, all you need. I mean, people don't spend in this game are making C30s right now. I have players in my alliance right now that are side by side with me, and they don't spend put a lot more time into it. So farms, but do them right. If you don't do these things right and efficiently, then they're not going to pay off, and you're going to be wasting your time. So you need to really think about what you're doing. And again, don't try and build your own alliance if you have no uh, experience in it. Don't try it. Get with somebody that does have experience, or organize with some people and build one together. Because eventually, when merge comes, all this hard work is going to be for nothing. Because myself against teams of people placing flags, it's going to be a bitch. Because I'm not getting up every 2 hours to restructure my territory. Have a good night, guys. I don't want to drag this video on longer. I might get back on to do a zombie run or something like that. But Yeah. If y'all need anything, just post or comment or see you on my Discord. Thanks, guys. Good night.